Today, we're gonna do some functional working out again, but with a hypertrophy focus. So we're gonna do functional movements. We're gonna do stuff that's actually gonna make him a better runner, better performing, better sports performance, but there's an emphasis on him putting some muscle on while he does it. So we're gonna do some stuff like those unilateral glute bridges. We're gonna do some stuff with some landmine. That's what we're gonna get into today. Sit in the front of this bench. Good, sit on your butt. All the way down. I need you to go all the way down. That's perfect. We want full range of motion. Full range of motion. Guys, if you cannot go through the entire range of motion, don't lift the weight, okay? Why am I keeping this there? I'm reminding him to brace his abs, right? I don't want his hips sinking, right? So I'm just forcing him to push through. There's a ton of way I could do this. I could do this. Just remind him here. But more than anything, I'm just getting him to brace those abdominals, just cueing them. Those touches, when you see people do stuff like this, I don't know what they're doing. Sometimes it might be something, sometimes it might, but just more importantly to understand is, if you're giving somebody a tactile cue, it can be very helpful, but I'm just trying to cue the client to be in the right posture. Big reach to the top, let it shrug you. Now pull down with the shoulder blades when you come down. Let it shrug you, squeeze the shoulder blades down. Beautiful. I'm gonna flip this bad boy back. What do I see in this form? I want to make sure he's shrugging. Remember, we're working on thoracic mobility. I want him to really open up top, and I want him to actually retract the scapula as he comes down. People, it's difficult for people, just 10 reps. Scapular retraction, right? Protraction, retraction, protraction, retraction. Should also be able to do it from this position. Here I am neutral, right? See, I keep my arms straight. Reach, I'm in protraction, I'm in retraction. Protraction, retraction. So I want him to go through that entire range with his scapula and still get all the lat and everything going on there. Good. Great. This is just an example. It's kind of like what we call like a landmine press. It's a variation for overhead. Again, we have some concern about him doing thoracic mobility, so I'm either going to put him in a half kneeling position with a kettlebell, or I'm going to put him in a landmine press. I don't want him pressing directly overhead. Like I wouldn't do a standard client who had shoulder health. I would have him do like an overhead barbell press. I'm not going to have Brian do those things right now. Beautiful. We're starting to fix the things that are actually causing him pain. Like we're starting to work on some of the hip stuff, we're starting to work on some of the calf stuff, but the strength overall, and just also getting him into a mentality of how he needs to lift, right? Like it's great to say, oh, that's easy, but if it's easy, then why the hell isn't it heavier? Knees up the entire time, right? Up, beautiful. Down, stop. All the way long, 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 long. Up, good. 6, one more, 7. Okay, why do I like this? Extremely, extremely functional. Why? Because he's gonna sway. He has to brace, right? This is just even more difficult version of a standard pull-up because this thing's swaying, it's moving. He's not kipping, he's not doing anything. We're doing a traditional pull down. Remember, his hips are in abduction. Why? Because it's forcing his abs to brace. It's much, much harder. So now he's having to stabilize here, he's having to stabilize there. It's a very, very difficult version of a pull-up. Right? Extremely functional though again. We're doing one more there, we're doing one more there, we're done. Okay, this is a Pendlay row. Right, what does that mean? It's a variation of a row where you let it slam to the ground every single time, right? So he's stopping at the ground. Why do I like that? Because what ends up happening when people traditionally bent over row is a bent over row starts here, then it becomes here, and then it becomes here, and sooner or later it becomes a shrug. This prevents it from becoming there because every single time you're touching to the ground, and so people tend to stay in a bent over position the entire time. Pendlay row. You're not gripping in the middle. Good. Now put your weight behind you. Feel stretching your hamstring?
And
Now,
you just come up.
yep, and pull behind you. There you go. Down to the ground. Nope, on the ground. Do it again. Pull, on the ground. Do it again. Pull, on the ground. There you go, Brian. Stay on the ground, stay low. Stay low, stay low. That's it. Okay, why do I like this? Because people get tennis elbow. What ends up happening is their elbow flares back. I'll show you, we've talked about it before. Good. A lot of times people tend to get elbow pain from doing triceps. There's a couple reasons for that when they do like skull crushers, right? That variation, part of it is because they get tennis elbow because their wrist can't stay stable. We talked about that before with overhead carries, that the wrist, right, that you have to stay stacked. It's very easy to stay stacked with a kettlebell in this position. Why? Because the kettlebell's laying right there. It prevents you. So the entire time your wrist remains stacked, it means you're not gonna end up with tennis elbow. That's why I like that variation. Why do I like it on the ground? It doesn't matter. You could do it on a bench and stuff like that. But from this position, I'm just really trying to hit the shoulder every single time. So you could do it on a bench, you could do it on the floor. I like the floor, it's nice and stable, but I love the kettlebell for that exercise because it's gonna prevent tennis elbow from occurring.